Today's guest is so amazing. Systems, very approachable. He works in high value properties out in California, but how he got there, how he learned things along the way of the importance of systems and what he's going to share nuggets with you is just precious. His name is Matias Masucci, and you're just going to love him. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's Kathy Brynes with Real Estate Riches, and today I have a really exciting guest, and I'm going to do my very best with his name because I love it. It's Matias Masucci.
No, you did great. Yeah, you did.
I'm
Good
excited.
job.
Okay, great. So I have people help me find different guests to come on my channel, and I have a requirement. I want them to be successful so that they have valuable tips to share. I
Mhm.
want them to be current in AI and social media because it's so important today of what you're doing. And I just loved when I read your bio. I thought, oh, this is my guy. I like this guy a lot. So welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Kathy.
All right. Can you give us a little background about you? Because it's very entertaining.
Yeah, well, I mean, as things stand right now, I'm a real estate agent based in Beverly Hills, serving Los Angeles County. I'm a father of four little children under the age of 9, so that keeps me pretty busy between my job and my family obligations as a father, which are not obligations, the pleasure that I have as being a father. And but it didn't start out that way. That's kind of like always my intro. I was born and raised in Italy, moved to this country when I was 18. I came here for a 2-year internship in the entertainment industry, which is far from real estate. And then tangentially at a party, one thing led to another. And in 2004, so 20 plus years ago now, I slowly started to transition in real estate. I started with the toughest and less rewarding job there is in real estate, which is resident manager of
Oh,
apartment buildings, which is
oh.
very tough and very little rewarding, but it was great because I really came up learning, the hard way. And then eventually, became a salesperson, a broker, et cetera, et cetera. And I truly love what I do. So, every day is an adventure, as you know, Kathy, very well.
Hmm.
We get to meet and deal with a lot of people from all walks of lives. Just yeah, it's so rewarding. And
Hmm.
and obviously our we serve clients from all walks of life, as I said, and that's been a great way of meeting people and expanding my network and things like that. So
Yes.
that's me in a nutshell.
Okay, that was good. So, one of the things that I loved that you gave my crew was 2 press releases.
Hmm.
And besides reading the press release, for me, it was the press release itself.
Hmm.
Because today you have to be, instead of being worrying about how are you searched necessarily on Google, it's how are you searched through AI vehicles. And
Right.
press releases are a very powerful thing. They've always been powerful, but they're even more powerful now because it just cements more information about you.
That's the thing. Like, it's people looking you up, and when they Google your name, you want to make sure you have good client testimonials. You have good, you show what you've done for the listings, et cetera, et cetera. It's very important. I know people that have zero online presence and still manage to have a good business. So it's not the only way to do it, but I think we are moving more and more toward that, toward the needing of social proof, people checking everything out, just as we do with restaurants. I mean, look how Yelp has become important, Google reviews, Google Maps, all of that.
And that's what I noticed about you. I don't think there was something that you did not cover. You're
Right.
on Twitter, you're on Pinterest, you're on YouTube, you're on every possible platform. And for some people, that feels very overwhelming. So, do you have help with all of that?
100%. There is an agent, Ryan Serhant, which is in New York, which
Mhm.
I've always, he's like a behemoth of our industry, obviously, as an agent. Now he started his own brokerage, but I, I've noticed that, one of the things that he was talking about was, you have to become a media company as much as you can.
Yes.
So I slowly started on my own doing little things, and I realized, you know what, this is a full-time job. Like, I either sell real estate or I do everything else. And I'd rather focus on selling real estate.
Mhm.
So I slowly brought on people to help me developing the systems. And basically, the way it works for me right now, maybe once a week, I spend an hour putting together content And then everything else is repurposed through AI. I have a full-time assistant and I have a part-time marketing person.
So I love that you said you started out doing it all in the beginning,
Right,
and then you saw that it's a second business. We have to be marketers.
right.
And you were the most exciting for me because I saw that you were on every platform, but I thought, well, this guy's got help.
Oh, for
Otherwise,
sure.
you can't do it all. And I went and liked, I think, just about everything you were a part of, just so that I could be connected to you. Because it's so important to market.
Yeah, absolutely. And learning the difference between marketing and advertising, like all of that. And even going back to just, as a listing agent, I can tell you one thing, like the majority of 99% of real estate agents do passive marketing. They take nice photos, they hopefully nice videos, post it in the MLS, do a couple of open houses, postcards, and hope for the best.
Yeah.
That is the old way. That doesn't work anymore.
No.
Now you could do so much more. If Amazon can track you with the ads, you could do that for real estate ads too. I could pontificate and talk about this over and over. It takes a lot of know-how and you have to spend years to learn it and own it. But once you could do that, it's like you really set yourself apart in your market. You can't rely on your brokerage for
No.
marketing. I mean, seriously, you can't because there's just a lot of vested interest and conflicts. Vendors go to them and they send you what the vendors ads are doing. And like, I don't know, maybe there are some amazing brokerages out there, but the majority of them, I've looked at all of the marketing and everything. It's pretty much all the same. Now, I can tell you that in order for me to do a sale, because we keep everything, the key performance indicators in my business, we track them all. We had spreadsheets, we check them every day. I have to touch 100,000 people before I get a conversion when it comes to selling a listing for a buyer, whether
Mm,
they buy it or not. But 100,000 people that before, when interest rates were 3%, with like 5,000 clicks, you get somebody to write an offer, right? Now
mm,
it's different, but it's okay. I have the tools to touch 100,000 people, right? Because
yes.
we have the help of Google, we have the help of Meta, we have social media, we have, built in. So it's so mathematical that it's kind of crazy
Yeah.
how it's like. And we see it with the advertising too, right? Like, people buy leads from Zillow or whatever and think there's a conversion rate, right? There's a conversion rate. It's like every 50 leads you get one phone call or whatever. Every 100 leads you get one appointment. Whatever the conversion rate is, you're going to stay within that range. So once you figure that out for your market and for your product, because it's different, right?
Right.
If I'm selling a condo, it's different than if I'm selling a new construction. New
Absolutely.
construction have different audiences than a one bedroom condo, right?
Yeah.
So you have that. So maybe it's 100,000 for a condo, maybe it's 50,000 for a fixer, maybe it's 75,000. The secret sauce, it's in the numbers and it's in what you look.
And it's recognizing who your pool of buyers is, where they're coming
Absolutely.
from. For me, the first thing I'm doing when I'm walking through a listing appointment is I'm analyzing, first of all, does anything need to be done to the house? What do we got to do here? Do I
Right.
have a team player on the other side of the contract here? Are they going to try and force me to tell me what price it is? Are they going to tell me what they're not going to do in the house and that I
Mhm.
make? If they're not a team player, I don't also want the listing. I'm willing to walk
Right.
away. My point being is I was targeting as many places as I could to reach out all over the United States
Mhm.
instead of just my circle. And like going back to what you said, if agents are just putting it in the MLS, even if they boosted it a little bit, that's nothing compared to what
Right.
you've got to do.
Exactly. I agree. Today's consumer deserves better.
Yes.
Real estate agents are stuck in the 90s, most of them. It's the truth. For as much as I love realtors, the majority of them are stuck in the 90s and are doing marketing as if it was 1999.
Yes.
There is a different way to do it. It's called active marketing, and barely anyone is doing it. And there's definitely a lot of potential in doing it that way. And it's a true value proposition to let your client know how you could do things differently than everyone else.
Hmm. What are some of the things that you do different for your
I mean,
clients?
I have a huge laundry list. Like, I mean, I'm not kidding. There's like almost 200 advertising points. We use Trello as a project manager for
Hmm.
like, we have specific cards with specific tasks that we do for each one of the listings. A lot of it, as you can see, just by Googling me, involves media and
Yep.
it involves videos. Beyond that, there's also like the specific outreach that you do. Like I give you an example. So, let's say you are selling a condo in a neighborhood that you feel that it could be good for people who are downsizing, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you do a title search of people that have owned their home over 40 years, right? Okay, so you could do that's public records, you can search it. Okay, chances are that maybe some of these people, now you have a list. Now you've got a list. And that list, it's how you reach to that list. That's the magic, like you could do, you don't have necessarily to do interruption marketing where you are, but you can make sure that the information reaches them. So target like I believe you said something to that effect, but a buyer profile is very important. It's to look at the asset you're selling and saying who would be the buyer for this. I have a video that talks about, the title is like behind the sale precision targeting. It talks about how we build buyer's profile essentially for a listing and how like we market that. So that's a good resource for that. But a lot of what is front facing, a lot of what the consumer sees about what I do, it's out there. So if you want to search and look, you can find a lot of the things. But like I said, we have an internal system. I use Trello. I used to use Dot Loop, which was just too clunky, so we ended up
Yeah.
moving to Trello,
Trello is great.
which is a great project management system. And we have listing workflows, buyers workflows that involve not just your typical get the listing signs, clean the property, take the picture, all of those. But then we also have like 200 marketing points that build upon each other and
Mm.
escalate as time passes. So if a property sells in 1 week, wonderful. We'll do what week one requires. But week two uses the work we did on week one, adds new work, and now the reach expands. So it works in an exponential way. It works from the dot, kind of like this essentially. So by week 8, we have the touches that we need, right? It's like 100,000, whatever. And if not, then there is also, something else kicks in, week 9, etc. So we've really built it. I've worked so hard to build something like a system that works, and every market is different and every budget is different. Like in
Hmm.
LA, we can afford to spend on marketing a listing. I don't want to throw exact numbers out there, but thousands of dollars that are spent on marketing a listing, especially for a high-end listing, right?
Hmm.
Now, if you're selling a property that you have to go based on your budget, you can't put all your commission in it.
Hey, let me ask you this. What kind of commission are you getting out there? Because here we were always getting three, and now it's the norm is 2.5.
We've been on 2.5. I mean, I personally, like 2.5, it's my fee for selling real estate. 2.5, and then, whatever the buyer agents require. Now with the new regulations, the buyer agent has to ask, but I tell my sellers, like just so you know, this covers my fee. And then the buyer, if they pay for their own agent, great, which I've never seen happen. But if they don't, then they will ask for you to pay. So you should expect, to whatever the circumstances may be, it comes with the offer, and that's another negotiating point. But our for me, it's been 2.5 to make. I mean, it depends by the price point. Like some price points, you adjust accordingly, whether up or down based on you have to make a living, and you want to
Right.
make sure that there's enough money for marketing. So all of those things play a factor in it.
Yeah, and I think that's the big piece that you just said. We're here to make a living. I look at
Mhm.
what's my net. So when I look at a price point that I want to work, I'm always figuring out what's my net so that
Right.
I mean, I pretty much know my low price point that I'm going to go, and I pretty much know the amount of the commission percent that I'm willing to go, with some fluctuation sometimes. You have to build a business, and just like you've done with the systems are so important. Using Trello makes it clean and easy. Your systems that you've laid out, and they didn't come overnight. You know,
Oh no.
this is where ChatGPT can help though, because there are systems that are out there, and you could say to Chat, do some deep research. What are some of the best realtors that are out there that are sharing their stuff, doing to create systems that I can be more effective and benefit from? And
You
you
want to hear?
start there.
Yeah, you want to hear something interesting about this subject? I did 1 year of Tom Ferry coaching,
Hmm.
and one of the things that I kept asking was like, show me the systems. Where are the systems? They don't. It's focused on prospecting, like the thing. And it was so interesting, I thought. I mean, literally, like I would go and look at the PDF in I can't remember what it's called, like Illum or whatever, the thing that I would sign on to. There is such little focus about servicing the listing. It's
Right there.
remarkable. The whole thing, it's built on generating business. Now, but once you get that business, how do you do a spectacular job? There's literally like, it's so, and even like the education on social media, to the mega open house, but that's not the system. That's
No.
not the system. That's not like, it's truly what opened my eyes, Kathy. It's like the fact that I started following something called, it was about Silicon Valley startups.
Mm.
Okay. It was a channel, I think it's called the incubator, something incubator. Now it's like a orange logo. You can really, it's very easy. Airbnb came out of it, Uber came out of it, like all
Mm.
these startups came out of it. And the people talk about it, about building a business, right? Building a business you can sell. Now, even if this was a huge mind shift for me. Even if I have no intention of selling the business, why don't I build the business that looks like something you can sell? Most agents don't have a business. They don't have a
No.
business they can sell. They have them and then a CRM.
Yeah.
But if you have
Nothing.
a system, a business you can sell, you have an actual model and you think about it, this is it. This is what it is. You build it with that mentality. Obviously, maybe there's no market for it. Maybe there's nothing to sell, but you build it with the mentality of like, I'm building something that can be valued and that can be sold. That was a huge shift. That's when we started working on systems. That's when we really started using the power of, we run our business in the Google workspace. So, like all the, really starting to use all the spreadsheets and really starting to use like the email templates, the responses. Now I have 250 that was built internally from
Mm.
us, templates
Wow.
that provide updates and answer clients' questions. Like I always put my own sprinkle in it, but you have to streamline the work. What is this AI good for if we don't use it to become more productive? And we use services, like TubeBuddy, things like
Yeah.
that to do the thumbnails. Everything is AI generated now. Like I'm telling you, you can really, it feels overwhelming until you learn the systems,
Right.
and until you find the right people. I suggest any agents who get serious about this, you got to be able to hire somebody. You got to hustle hard so that you can have a full-time assistant.
Hmm.
That's going to make the difference. You need an assistant. I'm not a proponent of having a 50 agent team, but you need an assistant. And then eventually your next step is you need either a buyer or showing agent, like,
Yes.
kind of a thing. Once you start building that core, then you can focus really on.
I think the bottom line here is there are realtors that just live through each day, just getting done the tasks that have to be done. They're not at all treating it like a business. They're
Yeah.
also usually behind on their taxes and they're living paycheck to paycheck because they're not running it like a business. This is really meant for entrepreneurs who want to really run it like a business. They're the
Yeah.
ones that are succeeding. Well, this has been great. Got any other tips you want to share before we head out?
The other thing, I think it's important to really love what you do. Yeah, be passionate about it. That makes, because your ingenuity will your brain will start clicking if you have a passion. It also has to feel like a comfort. For me, learning about real estate and growing my bag of tools feels like an exciting thing.
Well, that's great. I loved it. I loved your systems. I loved so much what you had to say. It was right on target and I think really beneficial for our viewers. And I hope somebody got some great nuggets.
Yeah, and absolutely. And you know what? Some parting words. If anybody needs help and wants to reach out to me, feel free. I love to talk to other agents. I love to talk to anybody. So if anybody needs any help and wants some advice, I'm approachable.
Oh, I love that. I love
Yeah,
being approachable.
yeah.
Thanks so much. Well, that's it, everybody. That is our podcast for today. And I hope you found value in it. There was so many golden nuggets. And stay tuned for the next one.